If you'd like to get away from the crowds and explore a classic medieval Italian town, I suggest you head to Bevagna in the heart of Umbria. You'll find many interesting sights in a small place that's easy to explore. It's only about 600 meters long, 300 meters wide, and it's flat. This is not one of those Italian hill towns that you have to climb up the steps and up and down the hills. It's easy, with rewarding sights ranging from a grand piazza to an ancient Roman theater. And of course, always those many little pedestrian lanes that are so much fun to explore. After walking around for a few hours in the little alleys and the main street, something most unusual occurred to me. Not only were there not very many tourists here, it seemed like I was the only tourist in town. The other people were locals. So during the program, you'll be seeing a lot of the lanes and cafes and piazzas, and see if you can spot any other tourists. I don't think so. There were more cats than tourists. And you might even get a few inquisitive stares from the locals wondering, why is this person walking in my little alley? You can see how quiet the town of Bevagna is. This is one of the main streets, Corso Amendola. And it's about 11 o'clock in the morning, a weekday morning, and it's very quiet, very peaceful. Except for the odd scooter truck buzzing through these narrow lanes, it's a Piaggio Vespa scooter adapted to that ubiquitous little truck you'll see everywhere. Of course, we're here in November, which is certainly the off-season, but a perfect time to be visiting Umbria. In the high season, April through October, there'll be quite a few more people around, but still, this is a small town. It's delightful to experience this authentic life found in Umbria, especially at a time when over-tourism has made many places too popular. Compared to its famous neighbor of Tuscany, Umbria is much less crowded, less visited, fewer people here, and yet with just as many beautiful towns and countryside to enjoy. Umbria is in central Italy and Bevagna is in the center of Umbria, one of the many fine towns of this region. And nearby is Montefalco, where I stayed for a few days and came over to Bevagna on a 20-minute bus ride for a day trip, passing vineyards showing off their fall colors, with convenient bus service dropping you right in the heart of town, where the first thing you see is a pizzeria in a Gothic building. Just a taste of what's to come in our little walk through town. So I'll have 3 hours to explore Bevagna, another one of the great medieval walled towns of Umbria. It's just 1 block from the bus stop to the main piazza, walking along Via Gabriele Pagliocchini, leading right into Piazza Felipo Silvestri. Naturally, the largest building is the Church of St. Michael the Archangel, built in the late 12th century as Bevagna's first cathedral. For a small town, Bevagna truly has a monumental piazza, one of the finest in Umbria. From above, we see the whole town, with the largo where the bus stop and the main piazza, and then the main street extending out from both sides of the piazza, with most of the shops and attractions along Corso Matteotti. The piazza is the central hub tying the town together, with that main street extending out both sides of it. We'll save the quieter Corso Amendola for later as we take you from one end of town to the other. Cafes are the social gathering place of any Italian town, and here we've got 2 cafes on either side of the piazza, anchoring the corners of those 2 main streets. Bar Centrale leading off towards Corso Amendola, and Bar Colonna leading us in the direction of Corso Matteotti, where we shall begin our walking tour of this wonderful little town. It's not easy to find a lot of information about Bevagna ahead of time. There are no single books about the town that you can find on Amazon, for example. So look for a gift shop and see what might be available. Do you have a map of Bevagna or a book, guidebook?
This in English.
Oh yeah? Wow.
Guide.
A guide, okay. Yeah.
It's okay?
Yeah.
English and Italian, but...
That's fine. Yeah. Okay, I'll take that. Thanks.
Giuditta! Vai tu, ciao Sasa!
The booklet was helpful in listing the main sites and had a little map tucked inside. So with that guide in our pocket, we're underway, meandering along into some side alleys, then back onto the main lane to continue. There is a tourist information office on the main piazza, but it has limited and irregular hours, so you really need to do as much research on your own ahead of time before you go. And that's where this program will really help you in analyzing what to do in Bevagna. My research was greatly assisted by the websites of both the Umbria and Bevagna tourist information offices. They have some good maps and descriptions of many of the important historic sites. You're going to find that this town is definitely worth the effort to get here and to explore. They don't have a supermarket, but there are local food shops selling some fresh produce, some of it grown in the area, which has rich agricultural lands all around it. Take a guess what the two main crops are. Right, olives and grapes. In the spring, they dig up truffles to go with your pasta. As in nearly all Italian towns, you'll find the pasta shop, selling dried pasta as well as fresh homemade noodles. It's not a restaurant, it's for takeout. Bring it home and cook it yourself. Shopping for local residents in these small towns is usually a daily activity. Step out and pay a visit to the bakery for bread and cookies. Get your fresh foods. It's usually walking distance from your home in this small town, and a chance to socialize, see your neighbors. With a population of just 5,000, it seems like everybody knows each other. Beyond the old town, there are just a few scattered homes in what is mostly farmland. No shopping malls out there. The bigger city of Foligno is just a 12-minute bus ride away, with Montefalco also quite nearby. As we continue walking along, we're getting into the very small commercial center of Bevagna, finding our gelateria in this popular tropical bar. We have now arrived at the very crossroads of downtown Bevagna, where three streets come together: Matteotti, Santa Margherita, and Crescembeni. It is believed this junction was also the site of the ancient Roman Forum. Yes, the Romans built a city here, in a place that was previously occupied by the Etruscans, and probably the Umbri tribe before them, but it was the Romans who developed Bevagna into an administrative center they called Lavanya, starting from the year 300 BC. It also played an important role in transportation because the main street that we've been walking along was part of the Via Flaminia, a 300-kilometer-long road from Rome to the Adriatic Sea. It was the most important Roman road to the north, bringing trade goods, including wheat, back into the city of Rome. This major cross street is leading us in the direction towards Piazza Garibaldi, with its dramatic gate tower in the old medieval wall that we'll get to shortly, after a detour into little side alleys. Some of these lanes in Bevagna are very narrow indeed. You might feel a bit lost here, but you can't get in trouble. It's a tiny little neighborhood. So just relax and take a mindless stroll here, wandering left or right. Within a few minutes, you'll probably come across another landmark to get your bearings, such as Piazza San Francesco. The Church of San Francesco was built at the end of the 13th century on what had probably been the location of a Roman temple, because it's the highest place in this relatively flat city. Inside it is an important relic, reputedly the stone on which St. Francis stood when he gave his sermon to the birds, just outside of Bevagna. That brings us to Piazza Garibaldi, a very pleasant place with some restaurants, and there's shops. You can buy some produce here, take a stroll, named after that great Italian hero who helped to unify the country in the late 19th century. One of the gates in the ancient medieval wall around Bevagna is Porta Canara, and it has that fortified tower you see behind me. Quite a spectacular sight. Leaving the piazza, you'll pass this impressive building that had been a Roman temple. then transformed into a church and still preserved with original stone semi-columns along the side. Now part of a small hotel, Residenza d'Epoca. Well, all right. Now we're going to wander over to another one of the gates through the medieval wall around Bevagna, strolling through a little tangle of lanes and alleys to get us over there, including a rare dead-end street. These local drivers have a lot of experience and skill in squeezing their little cars through these narrow alleys. It's so interesting to see how these medieval-style homes have adapted to modern life by converting the ground floor room into a garage for your beautiful car. Locals can drive in the old town, but tourists need to leave their cars outside. Arriving at Porto Foligno, the medieval gate leading off in the direction of that nearby city of Foligno. Here is where that ancient Roman road Via Flaminia left the city. There are still preserved sections of the original Roman wall, with the medieval wall built above it. Most of the original walls are still standing and extend for a total length of about 1,700 meters. Just on the other side of the wall, you are already in the countryside, in the vineyards, producing grapes for those excellent wines of the Bevagna and Montefalco regions, especially that unique Sagrantino grape. The street signs give you a quick idea of how close the other towns are, an easy drive or bus ride. Outside the gate, there is a war memorial in Corso Silestri, dedicated to the fallen and missing in the First World War. The property is located inside a small Parco della Remembranza, accessible by a small pedestrian gate, with a series of oak trees framing the monument. Not only do we have portions of the Roman wall here, but just a few blocks over, we have some preservation of the ancient Roman theater, portrayed as it might have looked based on traditional design. While most of the theater is gone now, the original semicircular shape is preserved in the buildings that were constructed on top of it. We got a short tour from the museum guide.
My name is Felipo.
Philip, okay.
We are on the steps of Roman theatre. The
Roman
theatre is a semicircular structure. On top level of a gallery, the house. Under the shop, see the rooftops. The structure is a semicircular.
Then Philip took us inside to show a portion of the Roman theater that is still quite well preserved. Like stepping back in time, you expect somebody to show up wearing a toga. It's a curved passageway with barrel-vaulted ceiling that would have been one of the entryways into the theater itself. It's quite rare for an ancient structure to have its roof still intact, which would have supported the theater above it. At the end of this ambulatory, there's a historical exhibit with a reconstruction of what's called the Vitruvian Wheel, invented 2,000 years ago by Vitruvius, the Roman engineer. The wooden wheel was placed in a stream that turned it, creating power that was used for a variety of functions, such as grinding grain or lifting things. Windmills had already been developed, but Vitruvius was the first who used moving water to turn a machine. In some ways, the beginning of the industrial age, but 2,000 years ago. This industrial scale capacity to grind grain for bread was partly responsible for the success of the Roman Empire because it enabled the government to feed millions of people and keep them loyal with free bread. Just next to the theater, there is another attraction. And you have a shop. Would you like to show me the shop, maybe?
The shop,
Yeah.
the glass, ceramic, in the glass in Middle Age is very, very expensive. No?
And this was part of the theater structure,
It's a
Roman
part
structure?
of a theatre.
Along with reproductions of Roman paintings, we get a reminder of Vitruvius.
The symbol
The ring.
Wheel of Vitruvio.
You're probably familiar with Leonardo's version of Vitruvian Man. There's also a restaurant inside. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
From the little street behind the theater, you can still see the curvature of that old building with the homes up above. That completes our walk through the main part of Bevagna, but there is still the other half of town yet to explore, which is also quite interesting. We're now back at the Piazza Silestri, that dramatic town square at the center. Here you'll see the Palazzo dei Consoli from the late 12th century, the former judiciary of the city, with a Gothic loggia, and now it's a theater. Once again, it looks like there are more cats than tourists in town. Have you seen any other tourists? I don't think so. We'll be exiting the piazza on the west side, just next to the bar Centrale, leading to the other extension of the main street of town.
Corso Amendola.
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 Bella città.
Bevagna is city very beautiful. Okay? Or no?
Okay. Grazie. The church of San Felipo is somewhere around here, and it looks like this priest might be heading that way. So let's follow along through another one of these charming side alleys. Called Vicolo San Filippo, so we're on the right track. This church was built for San Filippo Neri's oratorio in 1725. Walking a few blocks further south, we reach another church, San Agostino, whose congregation was founded in the year 1316 with the original Augustinians. From here, stroll along one of the prettiest side alleys lined with plants and old stone buildings, and it will bring you just outside the wall of town where you can see some of the gardens. And just beyond are the vineyards and olive groves. We're now strolling in the southwest section of town, which is about the quietest part of the city that you will experience. It's a residential zone with no signs of shops or cafes in these little side alleys. They do have a few street signs, but it's a little hard to figure out where you are. It's something like walking through a maze. If you were here on a day when the town was crowded with tourists, this would be a good place to come to get away from it all. As you wander along, you'll get some candid glimpses into the ordinary lives of the residents. Many do not have gardens or yards in the back, so the street is an extension of their daily living space. While surrounded by all these old buildings, we can reflect on some of the history. Bevagna was destroyed and rebuilt many times in the past, caught in the middle between larger warring factions such as the Pope and the Lombards, the Guelphs and the Ghibellines, sometimes controlled by Spoleto, other times by Perugia and Foligno. Ultimately, it came under the firm rule of the popes, where it remained until the unification of Italy in 1861. Since then, it has been a quiet agricultural community, and in recent years has become increasingly popular for visitors, with Umbrian tourism continuing to grow. So don't wait too long to get here, while it is still a peaceful, authentic, and beautiful destination. The local school kids are heading off for an excursion from this bus stop area, the same place where we arrived at the beginning of the visit. Now waiting for our bus to go back to Montefalco. The ticket is just a few euro and you can buy it on the bus. Only takes about 20 minutes and you're rolling through some of the prettiest Umbrian countryside you'll ever find. Of course, you could drive it yourself if you have a rental car. It's a very easy drive. Especially in the off-season, the roads are pretty empty and you could stop where you wish and get out and take a picture. But let the bus driver do the work for you. Now, the bus schedules are not very frequent, but that's okay. All you have to do is check the schedule and plan your itinerary accordingly. The bus is very important and useful for getting around in Umbria, because many of the towns are not connected by train. But the distances are short and the scenery is lovely, so take the bus when you must. We have many more programs about the beautiful towns of Umbria and the rest of Italy, along with most of the major towns of Europe. We frequently upload new movies, so please subscribe to our channel and click that little alarm bell so you'll be notified. And if you enjoyed the movie, how about a thumbs up? And we always welcome comments down below. Or if you have questions about the destination, make note and we'll answer them. Thanks for watching.